Logan Thompson went undrafted, passed over by the entire league, and now he's on pace to win the Calder. It's a rarity in today's NHL for a goalie to win the Calder trophy. No goaltender has won the Calder since Steve Mason last did it 13 years ago, and only 16 goalies have ever won the award in the trophy's 90-year history. But with each passing game, Logan Thompson is turning more and more heads and solidifying his position in serious Calder discussions. It's like a story straight out of the movies. The former Brock University goalie, almost out of hockey entirely, a few years ago has gone on to shatter expectations en route to becoming Vegas's starting goaltender, helping carry the Golden Knights to their red-hot start even in the absence of Robin Lehner. To Knights fans, he's the obvious Calder favorite, but when the Professional Hockey Writers Association goes to vote on the Calder at the end of the season, they will ultimately decide whether or not to make Thompson only the 17th goalie to win the Calder. But in reality, the case of Logan Thompson for Calder is a no-brainer, and I'll prove it. Let's dive into the numbers and see what they have to say about Logan Thompson. Analytics now more than ever play a huge role in how teams and fans assess hockey players and their performance. That includes goaltenders, as save percentage, goals against average, and goals saved above expected have become the metrics typically used to measure goalies. But the NHL of today is a much different world than it was when Steve Mason won the Calder, and more advanced analytics were only beginning to become more mainstream. However, Mason is the only goalie to have won the Calder in the post-2008 advanced analytics era, so he's the best measuring stick there is for a modern-day goalie Calder bid. Mason's stat line that season went as follows: a .916 save percentage, a .229 goals against average, and -5 goals saved above expected. Now compare that to Logan Thompson this season, who so far through 20 starts has a .917 save percentage, a .270 goals against average, and 2.7 goals saved above expected. Just based on the benchmarks, Thompson has been playing at a Calder winning level. Sure, you could point out that Mason had the better goals against average, but using Hockey Reference's adjusted goals against average metric, it's possible to put the two goalies on equal footing to adjust for the fact they played in different eras. And when comparing their adjusted goals against average, the once large difference is no longer as drastic. Keeping his numbers up will be the ultimate test for Thompson. Mason appeared in 61 games back in 2009, and a small sample size of 32 games derailed Jordan Binnington's Calder campaign back in 2019. Thompson's only played through 20 games so far, and he'll likely have to get north of 40 starts if he wants to avoid any small sample size arguments. For now though, the numbers are on Thompson's side, and they're hard to argue against. But not everyone is a fan of analytics, or believe that numbers can't tell the entire story. Well, even without the fancy numbers and spreadsheets, he's still one of the most valuable players to his team. By the nature of the game, there is no position single-handedly more important to a team's success than the goaltender position. A good goalie can steal games a team has no business winning, and a bad goalie can very quickly sink a team's hopes and aspirations. One of the biggest narratives heading into this season was the fact that Vegas didn't have a proven starter between Logan Thompson, Laurent Brossoit, and Adin Hill, and that the team would only go as far as their goaltenders would take them. Logan Thompson, more often than not, puts his team in a position to win and keeps the Golden Knights in games they have no business being in. All you need to do is ask yourself, are the Golden Knights still one of the top teams not only in the Western Conference, but the league without Logan Thompson? And the answer is a resounding no, because at the end of the day, you need your goalie to win you games, and Thompson has been doing just that. He's currently top 5 in the league in wins, and while the goalie win stat can elicit many opinions both for and against it, most goalies at the end of the day would probably prefer to finish a game with a win in their column than lose with fancy stats. In the case of Logan Thompson, he wins more games than he loses, and those wins are translating into wins for his team. If the Golden Knights make the playoffs this year, maybe even win their division, you kinda have to give the lion's share of the credit to Logan Thompson. How many rookie goalies are out there that can not only survive, but thrive whilst having to suddenly shoulder the entire weight of a playoff contending organization? Just the weight of those expectations would probably be too much for most rookie netminders, but Logan Thompson is not your average goaltender. He shows no fear, no quit in his game, and watching him sometimes it's easy to forget that he isn't some seasoned professional with years of experience, but a rookie. It then begs the question, how could you possibly vote against Thompson when he's been so valuable to his team's success? So far, most in-season polls for the Calder currently have Logan Thompson in a dead heat with Seattle's Matty Beniers, and from there are about 10 other rookies fighting for third place. There's obviously a lot of hockey still left to be played, but history tells us that if current trends continue, Thompson would have the leg up on Beniers. Going back to 2009 when Steve Mason won the Calder, he beat out Anaheim's Bobby Ryan and Chicago's Chris Versteeg for the award. While Versteeg played at a near 0.7 point per game pace, the more interesting comparison is Bobby Ryan, who finished his Calder campaign at a near half a goal per game rate and was nearly a 0.9 point per game player. I bring that up because through his first 25 games, Matty Beniers is just a smidge below the Bobby Ryan line, currently playing at a 0.4 goal and 0.84 point per game rate. If scoring 30 goals and almost hitting 60 points in a little over 60 games wasn't enough to put Ryan over the top, that might spell trouble for Beniers. Times have changed since 2009, and even though Beniers is on pace to score 33 goals and touch 70 points, that still may not be enough to sway voters away from Logan Thompson. In one poll conducted by NHL.com, 11 of 14 voters cast first-place votes for Thompson, and in a separate article by ESPN's Greg Wyshynski, one voter poll responded, "The fact that Thompson is top 15 in save percentage and goals against average while shouldering a number 1 starter workload put him over the top for me." It's hard to imagine that many prospective voters wouldn't at least share somewhat similar sentiments while filling out their Calder ballots come springtime, especially as Thompson is on pace to appear in more games than any other rookie goaltender. And that ultimately may be what ends up deciding this race between two very talented rookies. Thompson holds tremendous value as a starting goaltender, and unless Beniers goes absolutely nuclear in the games remaining, Thompson will presumably have the advantage, an advantage that just might help carry him into the NHL record books. What Logan Thompson has been able to accomplish so early in his career is nothing short of amazing. He wasn't some highly touted goalie prospect with big expectations like some of his peers were. He was just a guy hanging on to his dream of playing hockey. And now he has the chance to become the first goalie since Ed Belfour to win the Calder after going undrafted. That's some pretty good company to be in when you're being compared to a hockey Hall of Famer. And he's definitely earned it. He's had to fill some pretty big shoes considering who his predecessors before him were, but he's proven to be well up to the challenge, and in the process has captured many hearts. A Calder victory would be the cherry on top. A goalie nobody wanted, proving to the entire league that he belongs. If this all hasn't aged horrifically bad in only a few months' time, the ball will be in your court, Professional Hockey Writers Association. I hope you make the right decision.